about makeup, which, if anybody knows me, I love everything colorful, and if I can add more on something, my husband will yell at me and try to back me up a little bit. But it is a cool way, and I always say this, to make everybody on the stage feel just as important as everybody else. I do love that about the things you can add to it, whether you have a lot of speaking roles or not. You can make a kid feel really cool, whether they are the biggest person on the stage or somebody who's adding to it. So makeup to me is a really fun way to give kids a feeling of really being a part of the entire production with everyone. The thing about makeup is it's an add-on. It is how you can help create an atmosphere. It is how you can help create cohesion throughout the stage, how to complete or create a completion in the story. But the big main thing is it's how you complete your world. It's not how you create your world. It's how you complete the world that you're trying to make on that stage. And the biggest thing that I would say starting out is you don't actually need it. You don't need makeup. You don't need costuming. You don't need any of those things. Truly. Because we all know the most important thing on that stage is what the kids are creating with their bodies, their faces, their vocals. But it does help you to accentuate things. And that can be good, and that can also be bad, because acting is the foundation of your house. If you don't have a good foundation, it's all going to crumble anyway. I'm green shag. You can make an ugly house even more ugly if you throw something on it. Truly, honestly, if you have a good piece, you can put makeup on it and you're going to accentuate the good parts of your play. But you can also, if you have weaknesses, makeup can accentuate the weaknesses you have. And sometimes if you spend a lot of time creating this beautiful world, this beautiful makeup, and you haven't spent a lot of time getting those kids where they need to be on the stage first, you can almost disappoint the people judging, because you're like, I was really expecting this to match what you created. So you accentuated the weaknesses by spending so much time on that. So be careful that you're not thinking makeup's going to save the day if you haven't worked with your kids to really do the first step and set that foundation first. A lot of times think people want me to show you how to make this and how to do that. I would love to set up chairs and get all this makeup out and just practice all these designs, but I don't think that helps people because I have no idea what play you're doing. And your play, what you're wanting out of this, may be completely different than this, and it changes every single year. I would like to some of the foundational things that I have learned, because I have made a lot of mistakes, but I've also learned a lot of tricks and tweaks, and if you don't have a large budget, a lot of ways to fake it till you make it. That's one of the big things that I have learned. And the biggest thing is, when you're new, if you haven't done this a long time, stage makeup and regular everyday makeup, completely different beasts. Huge difference. There's, when you get on that stage, what you want to do versus when you're standing right in front of me, big difference. When you're thinking stage, you're seeing something from a very big distance away. And so when you think something's dark and bright and exactly where you need to be, half the time you're like, double it on stage. You're going to look like a clown up close, but it's going to look wonderful from far away. Thickness, boldness, color are huge on the stage. Before you even think about makeup, the biggest thing we do is theme. Find your theme. When she talks about your emotion. Because you're not going to do anything and start anything until you know exactly what you want to get across to an audience. Are you wanting the entire play to be dark and menacing? Do you want it to be light and ethereal? What are you trying to get across? And I love to just start pulling any images that tickles my fancy, and I start making a huge folder. And some of my pictures, I've gotten tagged by our AD a couple times, and he knows when 1X season starts. He's like, I'm sorry, I was looking for a costume. No, I'm going to get red flagged. Just so you know, I was looking up a play, and it's 1X season. I'm looking for costuming. Sorry. And it's become a joke between the AD. He comes in, are you doing 1X stuff? I'm like, yes, I can show you the picture. It's not what it sounds like. And it's become a really fun joke between me and him. even our principal, the last year, because I was getting costume if you saw it, and some of it, our principal looked, he's like, what the heck are you doing? I'm like, trust, I promise this is what it looks like. And he saw me come running, and I'm like, oh, something popped in my computer, I'm gonna get flagged so fast it's not even funny. And I ran my computer to him because I was terrified that I was gonna get fired. But when you figure out all the color and the feel that you want to, you can really get neat ideas from just all kinds of imagery. And my biggest thing is when you're trying to do makeup, and especially for fantasy and any kind of like feeling you're trying to get, illusion is so much easier than trying to be specific. Or I always say, if you're trying to do something on a face, don't try to make everything even, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. If you can make something allude to what you're trying to get to and give people a feeling, then you don't have to worry about if you screw it up really bad, because you're alluding to something, it's not specific. An example, I showed this, Heather Hymas with me, she's like, what is up with the picture? I was like, well, this last year we did a play and it was all kind of set in purgatory and hell, and just wanted to create this feeling in the audience of just, that's just feeling. And I was looking through pictures and I went, oh, that is so cool. And don't mention the fact that the Pope is sitting in front of it, which just creeps you out even more. But I saw this image and I'm like, that is what I want. I want this weird feeling of this people molding out of hell. And it was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I designed a background to kind of mimic, or our kids would be kind of connected to it. And because I just saw this picture, I went, that's what I want, that's what I want. I want something creepy, just like that. And that is where, in makeup, you can get really cool ideas by just knowing what you're trying to get across by what they want them to feel. And that is my biggest thing, is what do I want them to feel, and how do I use all this stuff to push what I'm trying to get them to feel. I was just going to go through really quickly, especially if you're new, through many years of doing this, how we begin and how we end, and how to avoid some things that can go wrong. I've had kids who've been allergic, I've had kids break out, I've used prosthetic makeup and had kids pass out, and went, oh no. And we changed it up, didn't realize that she was claustrophobic. Like we said, talk about it, she didn't know she was claustrophobic. We found out after one performance, I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen anymore. The biggest thing is when you start knowing how to get the kids first, and they know we have a station, to prep their face. Make sure it's clean. Also, if you're in costumes, being clean is wonderful because they don't get washed very often. And I always have, if they have their own, that's great, the most hypoallergenic, non-scented, everything can, lotion, because if they can't afford it, or if people want to get really expensive primers, it soaks into the skin, so you have a lot less chance of what you put on their face giving them a reaction, especially if you have a lot of shows in a short amount of time. They're probably going to get dry skin and sore anyway, but this will help keep it from happening as fast as it needs to. Waterproof makeup, big thing on stage. They sweat, they're moving, they're working hard. The waterproof makeup is just, it'll save you a lot of headaches. And then when you get the makeup on, there's a lot of ways you can set it. You see all these lovely videos of these gorgeous women with all this makeup they put on. It probably took them 3 hours to do like half of their face. The nice thing is you can get some really cool professional setting powders, or cheap alternatives that we have figured out throughout the years, baby powder, cornstarch, and instead of a barrier spray, if you don't want to buy the professional barrier spray, hairspray is very similar to a barrier spray, but I always tell kids, make sure you are not breathing when I'm spraying. But it is, if you are in a bind, a little bit of hairspray can help set the makeup, especially if you're in bind. On stage, I always say blending. Don't waste a lot of your time blending things out perfectly. It's going to be a lot of work that nobody's going to see anyway, for the most part. It really doesn't. In natural makeup, you can blend away some lines, but if you spend a lot of your time trying to perfect this and make these beautiful compositions, a lot of it isn't going to be seen from far away anyway, so don't waste a lot of time on perfection and blending. And a big thing, and this is probably a personal thing, a lot of us aren't, even on this stage, so far away. In natural makeup, it's very easy to overdo, especially if you're doing a dramatic piece on the males. As a judge, if you were trying to connect me and make me just want to just cry along with them and just be sucked into it, there's nothing that will pull me as a judge out of a piece faster than if I have the main protagonist male and he's got so much blush and eyeliner that all I see is, wow, he's got some really beautiful red lips. And I'm pulled out of it. It's on a small stage. Our biggest thing is half the time you don't really need it. And it's so easy to overdo it. It's so much safer to stay on the side of, you know what, I don't want to overdo it, make it look like a clown, than you don't have nothing. Because for the most part, you don't need it. By the time they're done running on stage for 5 minutes, they're so flushed, they don't need blush. Heather and I were talking, the very littlest is maybe a little mascara on the boys' eyelashes, if they have very, very pale, maybe eyebrows, eyelashes. But for the most part, and the people who matter, the judges who are going to be watching our plays and critiquing them, are usually pretty darn close to the stage. I avoid it. I don't tend to put any makeup on our natural characters like males. Just because I know how I've been affected by overdoing natural makeup on males, especially in serious plays. It pulls me out of the story. It pulls me out of your world because I'm going, whoo, that's a lot of lipstick. Dang it. And a big thing, this has come into play for me many a times, is when you're done putting makeup on, you check it under your lights. I know you can't practice for every stage and every light they have. Check under the lights, because lights change makeup colors so fast. When we did Birds first time, we had these cool orange beaks. We spent hours making these cool kids. Went to dress rehearsal and went, I can't see anything. Crap. And we laughed and said, well, man, it's going to change that. And there's certain colors that just disappeared. I'm like, well, that was a lot of work for no payout whatsoever. So always double check your colors at rehearsals to make sure they're even, like all the work we're putting in is even going to show. And we found out very quickly, certain colors, they didn't show at all, so we changed that up. And practice. I don't think we've had 1 year where our makeup that we have done at dress was exactly what we did by the end of the seasons. It changes constantly. And sometimes just because I couldn't remember what we did before. And we tried something like, what did I do on you? And we learned to take a lot of pictures at the end of things. The people that help makeup, we literally have cameras like, take a picture of your face. Take a picture of your face. Why? I'm not going to remember what we just did. There's no way. It's cool. I like what we're doing this time. Set it. That's what we're going to do next time. Just some quick examples, especially in stage makeup. Accentuating just some main features is about all you need to focus on. And there's some main features that you focus on, and you can make wonderful things with a little bit of effort. Eyes are probably one of the biggest things, and we all know this because an actor's biggest tool is their eyes and their mouth. And and this is mostly for if you're doing like a fantasy drama, not so much natural makeup. These are more if you're trying to do something outside of the normal realm. Play around with accentuating shapes, thick eyeliners, dark eyeshadows. I am one of those that after Halloween is over runs to Walmart or Target, looks at the 80% off, and like, look at these cool eyelashes, and I will grab a bunch of them, whether or not we are using them that year. I will grab them and throw them into a pile because they were 20 cents. Wonderful. But anything to accentuate, especially in fantasy, the eyes, because man, those kids do so much amazing work with their eyes. I want everybody to see it. Lips, they're, like I said, you can use any kind of lip stains, lipsticks, regular makeups, but you can play around so much with shapes on their lips. We all know the red queen with the hearts. If you got an old lady who wants to be a smoker and you just give her some gouged out smoke lines around her lips. But it's really fun. Eyes, makeup, and once again, check the coloring. And then featuring, emphasizing the cheeks and chin. I literally love to play around. There have been some really weird things that I have done on faces. We puff painted like things on faces once, and it was so cool to create this dimension. We have found, I love eyelash glue because it's meant for your face anyway, and so for the most delicate part of your face around your eyes, it is fabulous for gluing pieces on faces because like I said, it's one of the safer glues for skin, and it sticks really, really well. So tip, trick, eyelash glue, I buy it by the pound. And then biggest thing, a lot of people, especially if they're new, don't think about the after effect. They say to wash your face off. You do have to teach your kids how to take care of their skin, especially the boys who don't care and they just scrub it off and they acne out. But showing them how to clean up their face so that they don't get some bad reactions or just, teenage acne flare like crazy. I do, and you can do the best you can and still have it. We always joke that you can tell by pictures the beginning of 1X season and then the end of 1X season. They're like, no, I had just really pretty skin 2 months ago this evening. I know, I'm sorry. But you can get a lot of cool products. I know a lot of the professional makeup companies, Ben Nye, they have a lot of professional makeup removers. But, like I said, if you're like me and you run to Sam's Club and you get the non-hypoallergenic, non-scented, you just get some of the cheap baby wipes, they look really good too. In fact, that's all I use. I use baby wipes. But I said it's meant for the most tender part of the baby's body, so it's good on the face too. And it also, man, it saves you on a lot of funds. And then I have a big bottle, like I said, of the most the most hypoallergenic, anything to react to anybody, bottle of lotion. And the kids know when they're done cleaning their face, if they don't have their own lotion, they can go to the bottle and squirt it off and then lotion up their face. Because, like I said, if you prep it and clean it up after, it really does save your kids' faces. Especially if you are doing intense makeup. Because there are times where our kids are completely covered in makeup, and you can tell the ones who've done it really well and the ones who kind of fell asleep and came back, and you can still see the outlines of which, if you're going the next day, it really does help you to put the makeup back on. But it really will save you. And a lot of kids going, oh my god, my face hurts, and I've had that, it's like, it's so dry. I'm like, yeah, you didn't put your lotion on, did you? I have a bunch of lists, and this will be on the thing, for things that I have used, the things that I love the most. And like I said, probably the biggest thing, and this is maybe where we disagree, I do, if you can, and like I said, when we first started, we had nothing. I had my sister, we were on a four-wheeler and I was pregnant. I had her climbing ditches, hacking off trees for me because we had no budget. And I was just laughing, and she's getting covered in ticks, so I don't have to worry about it. And she felt sorry for me. But I understand not having a budget. If you can, every year, get a little bit of professional makeup as you go. It is worth it. Like I said, I bought a lot of after special Halloween makeup that comes in the kits that dries out after 2 seconds, and you have to put like 10 layers on to even get a little bit of the color. You will end up spending the same amount of money anyway. But the professional grade makeup, I am a huge, I love Mayron. Mayron is, Ben Nye's good, Craft is good. I am a huge Mayron fan. Their makeup, a little goes a long way. So when you're thinking, if you're getting I love the Paradise, the powder palettes, you spray it, water, it dries, you spray it to activate it, lasts forever. So it goes so far. It lasts so long. So you do actually save the money in the long run if you get a little bit of the good makeup. Because I know the powder palettes, this year, 50 plus kids, they were all completely make-upped. And I had two black powder palettes. I bought them. I didn't need to, I found out, because we didn't get through the old ones. And doing 50 kids per production, per play, I didn't use them all. And when I say there was a lot of black everywhere. So when you're thinking of buying, maybe you get the cheaper makeup for $2 and get a bunch of them, and it doesn't last more than a month because it dries out and it doesn't, and you have to put so much on to get the same thickness. You are going to end up spending the same, because I can get one of those palettes through maybe $10, $15, which if you're getting a lot of things at once, does add up, but it will save you money. So the biggest tip I can give anyone is if you can just slowly build up your makeup kit with the good grade professional makeup, you will save yourself money and time and stress, and it's better on your kids' faces because it's meant for what it's being done. That is a huge, huge thing. I know that one year, because I needed a bunch of bright, colorful makeup, I said, hey, I'm going to sign up for one more concession stand, and that money is going toward the makeup. It's going to go toward getting some more makeup. But building your professional kit, it is worth it. That is probably the biggest thing. I don't care what your brushes are. Who cares? You can get the paint brushes out of the kids' art aisle. That doesn't matter. You can get whatever you want. You can use baby wipes. But professional makeup, you will never regret using. It is better. And I put a list of companies that you can get, because the best ones, Ben Nye, Mayron, Krylan, Graftobian, those are all really good companies. But like I said, it's never something you will regret. And it was last forever. And that's, like I said, I would love to play, but when I make makeup, I get a lot of pictures, I get my theme figured out, and I am like a kid in a candy store and we just play. And you find people you trust. If you have kids, if you've ever seen our setup, we create a huge lineup. I have lists, I section out characters by specific makeup styles. So if you are in the blue category, if we're doing birds and you're an owl, you're going to be with this group, you're going to be with this group, you're going to be with this group. I have specific people doing makeup in each group, because then all the palettes can be the same. And if you find kids who are good at this, awesome. You're going to work on that. I have kids who are fabulous with hair. They jump in, maybe they're not as good at putting up the hair, but man, they can curl. And if you have kids, maybe they're not great at creating the shapes, but their entire face needs to be based out in white. Get in line, you have this entire group of kids, your job, you base them out, and then you start getting this kid's line because they're really good at doing stenciling or doing the shapes. It's all about saving time. We start our season giving ourselves, and this sounds insane, a 4-hour window for the first makeup put on, and our goal by the end of the year is to get it down to hopefully 2 hours to do all of our makeup. And like I said, we have quite a few kids, and that's usually if we're doing more fantasy style makeup. If you're doing natural, it doesn't take so much. A lot of times those kids can do their own stuff. But if you can get it down, it's perfect. But it's always helpful to know the strengths of your kids, the strengths of people who volunteer.